There we go. Okay. We're just waiting to get connected.
All right. I think
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm gonna move back because when we start the live, it like immediately like.
Yeah, I know. Like we had a setup here.
How are you? Which one is which?
Okay,
Good question.
Farrah and Hana.
Hi, Farrah. Hi, Hannah. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys are both so beautiful. You guys look awesome.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yeah, you too.
Love Mondays.
It is, the weather in Toronto has been amazing for the past couple of days. So I'm like on such a high right now. And I'm also on such a high because I'm here with you guys and we're going to be talking about turning your passion into a full-time hustle. So maybe if you want to do a brief introduction before we kind of dive into the topic.
Okay, that sounds good. So just to introduce ourselves again, my name is Farrah.
Hana.
And we are the owners of Dough T.O, which is pretty much a Toronto bakery that sells safe to eat scoops of cookie dough.
Yep, it comes in a number of flavors. Usually we scoop it up just like ice cream, or we have different products like cookie dough filled macarons. You can get it in a jar, mix it with ice cream, or bake it into cookies. We started the business, a couple of years ago. Oh, it's been 3 years almost now.
I know. Oh my God, time flies. Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago that we had our first pop-up.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So really briefly, hi everyone. My name is Zaina and I'm the founder of Run the World Summit. Run the World Summit is a Canadian event series that is all about supporting local female identifying entrepreneurs and designers. We host amazing offline experiences, but because of COVID, we have turned to these awesome mentorship live sessions where we bring on an industry expert every day to talk about a certain topic that's really pretty relevant to a businesswoman's day-to-day life. And today we are talking about turning your passion into a full-time hustle. So I know you ladies mentioned you started 3 years ago. So maybe let's dive into what was your inspiration, what was your maybe educational background, and what inspired you to go into the food and beverage industry?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying no food background.
Nope.
We both went to business school at U of T, graduated, and I was working a corporate job as a fashion buyer for the HomeSense. And I think a lot of people can relate to buying cookie dough from the store and eating it raw, or even when you're baking cookies at home, just eating it raw. And we're no different growing up and throughout university. And so we really just wanted to come up with a product that you can have guilt-free, and you don't just have to buy the chocolate chip. You can get different flavors like birthday party and red velvet and sea salt caramel. And that's kind of the inspo behind it. It was something that we felt passionate about. And in terms of the certifications, it's been a learning the past 3 years about how to come up with the product, getting commercial kitchens and the licensing and food handler certificate. So we're self-taught in that sense.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, it's kind of a funny story. So Hannah actually came to me with the idea about 5 years ago, which was when we graduated university. And to be totally honest, when she did come, I completely shut it down. I thought, you and I eat cookie dough, but who knows who else does? I thought, you can't run a business on cookie dough. I just thought it was a silly idea. And I thought at the time that, you're conditioned that you have to go to school, get an education, and then right when you graduate or even before you graduate, have a full-time job lined up.
What's your background, if you don't mind me asking?
We're Lebanese.
Yeah, Palestinian Lebanese.
So that makes total sense.
Middle Eastern parents.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's what we were conditioned to do. So, that's kind of what I did. I got a job right out of university. So when Hannah had come to me at the time, I told her, I'm like, you know what? I feel like you should forget this cookie dough idea. I feel like you need to find a full-time job, have some, between the both of us, I'm more risk adverse. She's more risk taking. So that's kind of the advice that I gave her. So she kind of put the idea to bed for a few years. And I think it was still in her mind for quite some time. And she came to me again a couple of years after, and she's like, screw you, Farrah. I should have started this way before.
I'm doing it with or without you.
Exactly. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. Let's just go for it. It's still in your head a couple of years later. I felt bad actually at that point. So we decided to just go for it. But again, we were very cautious about how we approached it. We decided instead of quitting our jobs at that point to say, hey, like let's test the market. Let's see if people are as interested in it as we are. So we kind of got started that way.
And that's how we had our first pop-up.
Yeah.
Cool. So what was your first pop-up? Where was it?
So that was in Kensington Market. We felt that it was a very cool culture in that area, very nice vibe. We found someone to partner with. He was an artist and had like a little art gallery. And honestly, we had 200 square feet just in the front.
Tiny, very small, very humble.
Yeah, get up at 5 in the morning, go to our commercial kitchen, make the product, and then go on site and just sell it ourselves.
Yeah.
To anyone who would walk by, we just kind of promoted ourselves and on our social channel.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And what was the feedback at the market at your first pop-up?
So should we talk about the first day? We like our first. So we were so pumped to get started, and we were so ready. We had the recipe down pat. We had the setup of the store ready. We were up so early on the soft launch, thinking that we were going to sell so much dough and there's going to be a lineup of people and it was going to be a huge success. And so we got to the shop on the first day, like with tubs and tubs of cookie dough that we were going to sell out of. And then we opened our doors and like no one came. There was no one there. No one came the whole weekend. And we were so crushed because we had this plan in our mind of how it was going to go and then nothing actualized.
I think that was a marketing wake-up call for us.
For sure.
Because we were excited about the product, but forgot to tell the city about it.
Yeah.
And so that's when we really focused on our social channel and our branding, which is what people love now and what we love to do with it now. And that's when like the different media outlets came and we got the feature on Dough T.O and 680 News and Narcity and Business Insider reached out. And I think that was our wake-up call that first weekend.
Yeah, so then we decided to try it again. Yeah.
It's amazing because it was like your first lesson on your first day, like
totally,
into the work field.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So kind of walk me through the process. Like after you guys did that first market up until now, like at what point did you say, oh my God, okay, we can actually do this full time. I can now quit my job and we can actually, continue working on Dough T.O for full time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? You want to have your side hustle become
absolutely
your job.
Yeah, so again, we were super cautious when we first started. We only ran it on the weekends, so that way we still maintained our full-time jobs. And at the end of the summer, our summer pop-up closed and we kind of shut down the shop. And honestly, I don't know what we were thinking at the time, but I don't know if we were planning on continuing. We're like, oh, cool, like, I guess that worked. And then kind of, I think we were just going to move on, but we kept getting messages from people saying, okay, like, where are you guys going to be next? We still want your product. And I think that kind of hit us that, okay, we should keep going with this. So we did, but I think it got to the point where time was not on our side in terms of resources. And
I was trying to take calls in the office and that wasn't really working. And it just got so busy that we had the conversation where I had to decide, do I be mediocre at two things or great at one thing? And so I had to decide, do we shut down this business or do we give it our all and just see where it can take us? And that was 2 years ago now. And I mean, I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, it was super scary at the time, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to take risks. And we would have always wondered what would have happened if we had done that. And I think it was, now we look back and think it's a good call.
And I think our hustle for dough means so much more than cookie dough now. We're young entrepreneurs, females in this business world trying to navigate our way. And so our hustle for dough, I think represents more than just cookie dough.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And I love how you said, should I be mediocre at two things or be really great at one thing? And I think that's really important. That's a really good piece of advice because sometimes we try to do so much and you stretch yourself out so thin and then it's like you're not giving your 100% into anything.
So true.
And like Farrah said, like you never know what would have happened if you never just took the chance. So I love that. So so you said you guys have been in business for 3 years, yeah?
Yes.
So you guys have partnered with a lot of big brands, which is really exciting. And what would be, kind of walk me through that process. How did you land those partnerships, and why did you feel like, okay, this would be a good step to take for our business right now?
I think that it's a couple steps, right? So you have to be confident in your product and in your brand. That's first and foremost. And then kind of have something different that you're offering your customer and something different that you're offering brands. A lot of the times brands are looking for something different and something new and something interesting, and these small little partnerships. So I think showing them that you are different and unique really helps you. We've been very fortunate that a lot of these brands have been reaching out to us, and that we can show them that we're something new and exciting. Things like Hershey, YouTube. We've done events with Facebook,
Nike, Adidas, Joe Fresh.
Yeah, so it's a lot of brands that really have no relation to cookie dough necessarily, but we have a lot of common things that we stand for, and in that way it connects us. I think something else that's important is, yes, we've been lucky that these brands are looking for things, but as soon as we come across the brands that we feel like we resonate with, reaching out and saying, hey, this is what we're about. We love what you're about. Like, let's work on something together.
Yeah, and I think approaching them with a specific idea instead of let's collaborate.
Let's just collab.
Present something, present something that they maybe wouldn't have thought of. I think is a good way to approach it, especially when you don't have a contact initially at that brand. And I mean, once you kind of break your way into one, the others kind of latch on, and you start to meet other people, and it kind of just goes from there.
Yeah.
So like a ripple effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at any point in time, if anybody has any questions, you guys could just leave them into the comment section or in the question box, and we can get to them. But so one of the questions that was asked was, how do you determine what your passion is?
For us, it came out of interest. So like I said, growing up, this is always something that stuck with us. And you don't have to think of it as a business from the get-go. You don't have to know how exactly you're going to make money. As long as you're passionate about it and you're willing to put that effort in, because a lot of the time you're going to spend your evenings, you're going to spend your weekends, you're going to miss some birthdays. So you have to make sure you love it in that regard. Yeah.
And once you start your business, it's funny how many opinions start getting thrown at you in terms of how you should take your business, or what you should do, where it should go. And at the end of the day, this is your passion, this is your product or service, whatever it is that you're starting. So you have to be so passionate about it that, yes, listen to the opinions, but you have to decide where you want to take it, because it's your risk that you are taking at the end of the day. So if you're not that passionate about it, I think it'll come quite early on with the decisions that you're going to have to make.
Absolutely. And I think part of understanding what your passion is just trying things out. Like, if you don't know what you like and what you're interested in, and what you'll miss the birthdays for, and what you'll miss these big occasions for, and work the weekends and work the nights, I think it's really important that you just put yourself out there and try so many different things and see what you like. I mean, without exposing yourself and trying, how would you know what you're interested in?
Totally. Yes. Yeah.
So definitely, I definitely think that that's super important. And another question is, did you initially do free collaborations at the beginning to get your name out there and to get the brand out there?
There were a few things we did for free at the beginning, and I think that was a learning for us. I would say only do something for free if you know that you're going to get something more valuable out of it that isn't monetary. And so we learned the hard way, and we put blood, sweat, and tears into events that we shouldn't necessarily have done, but
we didn't know at the time. And it's a learning. Like, we always take things as learnings. I don't think there is such thing as like
a loss,
taking a big loss. But now that we've learned to see what outcome we want out of things, we set aside certain budgets. Exactly. And we set aside certain budgets for charity events, for collaborations that we do want to do. So that's kind of the point that we've evolved to now. But at the time, I think to get started, I think it's something smart to do. You just have to be cautious of how you're approaching it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take everything.
Yeah.
Put a number aside and work with that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's a question that we have here in the question box. Let me just see if I can grab it. There we go. So what lessons did you learn from this that you would consider for future hustles? Great question.
Yeah, that is good.
So I get a lot of messages about how to start, and I think regardless of industry, our advice is the same, that it's really important to have a proof of concept. So our proof of concept was our pop-up in Kensington Market. And so I would say to anyone who wants to start, have your proof of concept. It doesn't have to be a physical retail location. It could be online. It could be posting a story on your Instagram to gauge the demand. So yeah, I think instead of going all out into something from the beginning, go all out in terms of passion and effort, but really gauge the market and pivot if you need to, or continue on the path if you get an amazing response.
Yeah, and listen to your customers' feedback. I can say that our recipe at the beginning is not what it is now. We've evolved it so much, and as passionate as we were at the beginning, I mean, you have to listen to what your customer wants, and I think we're super happy with it now. But who knows? It could change later down the line as well. So I think proof of concept, listening to what your customer wants, and just like getting as much information as you can out of the market, and knowing what your competitors are doing as well if you are in a competitive industry. People always ask us if we get worried when we see other cookie dough shops pop up or different industries, but honestly, I think that means that there's a demand for it. As great as it is to be the only one, it's a good sign when other people pop up. So doesn't worry us. It just makes us the fire kind of grows to say, okay, like, exactly. Yeah. To like show everyone that you are like the go-to for this product.
I love that. I love the confidence. That's key. And I guess that kind of, it kind of leads into my next question I was going to ask you was if you would sum up 3 tips, 3 important lessons or 3 tips to push through and work through turning your passion into a full-time hustle, what would those 3, I mean, kind of condensing what you said earlier, but what would those 3 tips be?
I would say,
I think something that's helped us a lot, I'll start with one, is we just so happen to be sisters, but I think our abilities go really well together. So I'm the creative and product focused partner, and she studied accounting and is very numbers focused. So if you're looking for a partner, I highly suggest it's someone with a similar values and a similar end goal, but a different skill set than you. I think that's a tip I have if you're looking for a partnership.
We've talked a lot about passion, so making sure you're very passionate about your product, or else you will not make it through the sleepless nights and, I mean, all the effort that it's going to take to start off.
So knowing that you're 100% invested.
Exactly. And then a third thing, honestly, make sure
proof of concept is so important.
Yeah, I was just going to say proof of concept. Knowing that there is a demand for your product and kind of going with the flow in terms of like what your customer wants.
Absolutely. Like you said earlier, customer feedback and being able to provide what they're giving you in terms of feedback is super important. Okay, so we have a question, and it's, how did you gain your following on Instagram? I know too, just to jump off this question, and oh my gosh, the sun is catching up to me, and I'm like,
I know.
There we go. Okay. Let me just move over here. There we go. So I know for personal accounts, it might be a lot easier to grow your following, but for business accounts, it's very difficult. So how did you gain your following on Instagram? What advice would you recommend?
I think what we did with our brand is we personified it. So we made Dough T.O like our third twin. And this person has its own personality. We can say what Dough T.O likes to do on the weekend, what kind of music Dough T.O likes to listen to. And so giving it that persona, when you think of it like that, it kind of becomes a personal account for that business.
I love that.
That's what we did from the beginning when we got that wake up call at our first pop-up shop that, okay, we either go all into promoting this, letting the city know. And we actually spent $0 towards marketing for like 2.5 years. And then we spent like $50 on Instagram promotion. Like it's been nothing. And it's just been word of mouth. We had a product that we thought was very shareable and, you know, breaking into the food community. And so getting to know different food bloggers, different media outlets, I think that's been a great help as well.
Love that. I love how you said you personified it and made it like a third sister.
It's part of us now.
It is our sister, child, best friend, all of the above. And we also personally think like, what would we want to follow? What would we find funny? What would we find relatable? And you can push your product, but we feel that it's a little, I mean, you need to add a little bit more than just pushing your product on your page. That's worked for us. So we try to stay as relevant as possible. We try to stay true to ourselves as possible. And yeah, I think that's something that we're going to try to continue doing as far as we can.
Absolutely. So we got a question in the question box here again, and that is, there we go. It's kind of long. You've done an amazing job of transitioning without a physical store in this time. Do you plan to continue delivery? And then the question got cut off. Delivery, even after COVID-19, and then the question got cut off.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's a really good question.
Yeah, that is good. It's something we've been definitely talking about more recently.
So I think what was unique about our model is we wanted to do the pop-ups for a long time, because that way, again, you have the proof of concept and you can target different areas in the city, and that way we were able to create a demand. So if we're only somewhere for a short period of time, you know, there's that urgency to come and buy the product in store. Now, the challenge with that is you have to keep on top of the pop-ups. It's very strenuous in terms of planning and build out and keeping costs low and hiring in different locations. And so we were thinking of kind of just stabilizing ourselves. Now, a flagship would be amazing, but with COVID-19 and recent events, I think we always wanted to take our business online. And this is kind of the fire under us.
It's kind of the push that we needed. And it's kind of funny how we just started our online. Again, as Hana mentioned, it was something that we always had at the top of our minds, but it just didn't happen. And so with everything that's happening in the world right now, and with events being canceled, we had quite a few events that unfortunately were canceled as this whole thing started. And so we had extra product and extra dough that we didn't want going to waste. So Hana thought, hey, let's just post on our Instagram, see if anyone would be interested in buying some jars, and like we're personally going to drive it ourselves. And so we had such a great response and such a demand that we're like, okay, I think we should actually now create more product so that we can start doing it online. And it got to a point on we were taking orders on Instagram, but that actually became overwhelming. So we took some time, built our website so we can start receiving orders on there. So it's actually given us an opportunity now to create an entirely new business model for us. That is our e-commerce. And we're looking to grow that model now because it's been quite successful for us thus far.
And I think eventually,
go ahead.
No, it's okay. I think eventually we'd love to see our product through different channels like grocery as well.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I would be so happy for you guys. When local female entrepreneurs win, we all win. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
And I was going to say, so just to clarify, before COVID, you guys were just doing the markets. There was no
nothing.
Delivery, was it?
Yeah, so we did a lot of corporate events. So in that sense that we worked, I mean, it wasn't so much online where we had a website and you can add to cart, which is what we have now. So we were able to grow that model within the last month, I would say, month and a half, not even, I would like under a month and a half. So yeah, it would definitely look different before, but through this process, we're able to simplify it. And now you can order a couple jars. You don't have to order 200 units at a time, which is what we had before.
Okay, got it. So question, are you thinking of expanding delivery to Markham, Richmond Hill this week?
I know we're trying to get as far as we can.
The goal was this week, we wanted to go further west and further east. We're in the midst of hiring and within the next couple of weeks. So unfortunately, we might not hit Mother's Day, but I think soon after.
Yeah, it's definitely, we're working on it, yes.
Awesome. And question over here, will your pop-up store be coming back?
Once we
I mean,
can.
yeah, right now I don't think it's possible with what's going on, but it's definitely something that we'd love to do. I think once the market allows it, it's something that we want to get back into.
Yeah, I think the store is great in terms of marketing and brand awareness.
Yeah.
So I think we'd love to do that as much as we can every summer.
Yeah, and we have a lot of fun with it. Like with our store, our last pop up on Queen West, like we're blasting hip hop music all day. We had a wall that was like covered in money just to like make a statement, and we have a lot of fun. It's a creative outlet for us, and we hope that people enjoy the experience walking in. So it's something that hopefully we can get back into.
I love that. And I mean, my next question was just to ask you guys, like, what's next? What do you guys have planned for your business? I know you touched on this a little bit right now, but what are your future plans for Dough T.O?
We're growing our team right now, so we have a couple interns that are planning to come on board, someone to help us manage. I mean, we've done everything from the beginning, including making our own website and the build outs and physically making the dough. And so I think looking to really grow the team, grow our outlet, our social channels. And I think on a personal level, our next step is we love mentoring. And we, like I said before, we get a lot of messages about how to start a business, whether it's in food or outside of food. And so on the side, we love just meeting people.
I love that. I love that. So you're interested in also mentoring and sharing your knowledge and experience.
Always.
Exactly, yes.
I love that. Okay. Do you recall a certain moment that first pushed your brand to where it is today? I remember how amazing your collaboration with Sobeys was.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you.
I think the moment was in our first pop-up. I want to say it was, so we got a Blog T.O video from our Kensington days. And I think that video now is at 1.5, 1.6 million views.
Wow.
And it resurfaces every so often. And then we'll just get like an influx of people. And I say, oh, the Blog T.O video must be going around again. So I think that was a great turning point for us.
Yeah.
And that really pushed within the city the awareness.
I love that. Okay, so that's all the questions that I have for you ladies. Again, if anybody has any last minute questions, feel free to drop them in. And if it's okay with you guys, we were thinking about uploading this live video to our website so anybody that missed it can come back and watch it at any point in time. So if that's okay with you, then that's what we were going to do. Maybe have it up by tomorrow, and then we could definitely share the link with you as well. But again, I want to thank you so much. And before we wrap up, we want to talk about this amazing giveaway that Dough T.O is doing. So why don't you guys take it away, and we will be posting all of the details at 6 o'clock. So I'm not sure what time it is right now, but for 6 o'clock, we'll be posting it just in case you didn't get all this information down right now.
Perfect. Yeah, so because we're so excited about the online shop and the delivery system that we've set up, we wanted to give away 2 of our large jars of our most popular flavors, chocolate chip and birthday party. And yeah, it's going to come right to your door, which is so exciting. I can't believe that you can just order it to your door now. So yeah, the 2 jars are available to the winner. And like you said, it'll be posted up for whoever wants to enter. It can be also shipped to all of Ontario. So this is not just to Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, our website only takes Toronto orders right now, but this giveaway specifically is for all of Ontario.
That's amazing. And I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to come and chat with Run the World Summit and chat with me today. And for this exciting giveaway, I'm like low-key gonna apply myself.
Oh my God, no, we'll give you some dough.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna save it for everybody else. But I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to chat with you ladies, and I really wish we could actually meet in person in better times.
Soon,
but
yeah.
Hopefully soon. And again, the giveaway post will be posted up at around 6. So make sure you guys enter for that. And thank you ladies so much once again. It was so nice talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of fun.
Let's stay connected and stay safe during this time.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.